Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adriana Bondarenko, a fourth-year bachelor student of architect. This work was developed jointly with senior lecturer of the Department of Drawing, Painting and Architectural Graphics at the Architecture and Art Institute of the Odessa State Academy of Civil Engineering and Architecture, O.Kosyna. With the development of technology in recent years, progress in this direction is growing. As an architect, I am intrigued by the opportunity to synthesize the principles and methods of two closely related fields, architecture and game development, particularly level design. By analyzing the relationship between architecture and game design, we can uncover new opportunities for the practical application of this synthesis in various design contexts. Level design is the process of creating game locations that provide an interesting and engaging gaming experience. Level designers use various techniques and tools to shape space, atmosphere, tasks, and challenges for players. Level design requires knowledge of game design, architecture, psychology, art, and programming. Architecture is the art and science of designing buildings and other physical structures. Architecture deals with the form, function, aesthetics, social aspects, and sustainability of space. Architects use various methods and tools to create concepts, plans, models, and documentation for their projects. The theory of architecture encompasses numerous aspects and essentially is a blend of various artistic, social, and psychological techniques. However, regardless of architectural movement or era, one idea remains unchanged. Architecture is an intelligent way of organizing space. Despite the fact that levels in video game are immaterial, players interact with game spaces just like their physical bodies would interact with the surrounding world. Therefore, an architectural approach can also be applied to level design. In this article, we will explore how level designers use architectural theory in their work. Currently, there are several traditional methods of teaching architectural concepts. However, researching shows that such an approach may be limited in shaping a deep understanding of spatial relationships and design decisions in students. Video game architecture is important and deserves careful consideration and thought, but it can be argued that it holds the same, or perhaps even greater, importance compared to physical architecture from many perspectives. The tasks of architects and level designers are in many ways similar. Both organize space according to the initial purpose and within existing constraints. However, the specifics of their work are quite different. While a level designer primarily considers the player's experience and the application of gameplay mechanics, and architecture deals with a multitude of factors, physical properties of materials, budget contracts, available space, and so on. However, if a game aims for any degree of realism, architecture structures must adhere to the logic of the real world. This means that every element must be just fit. This particularly referred aligns level designers with architecture. In both fields, every detail and object must have its functional significance. The similarity between them lies in the fact that both disciplines are aimed at creating spaces for people. Architecture typically associated with designing real physical objects, such as buildings and structures, aims to satisfy practical, aesthetic, and functional needs. Level design, on the other hand, focused on creating game locations in video games where players can interact with and explore the environment. The relationship between architecture and level design is particularly important in cases where the main game mechanics is movement through space. For example, in the video game Death Stranding, developers paid special attention to creating unique interactive locations that not only encourage players to embark on journeys but also make the journeys more interesting and engaging. Here are architectural elements such as terrain, relief, the presence of obstacles, and the interaction between different objects in space help create a unique graphical representation and gameplay possibilities, providing players with a distinctive experience. However, there are significant differences. Architecture typically focuses on real objects and requires consideration of practical aspects such as safety, space efficiency, and structural stability. While level design also considers efficiency and creating engaging environments for players, it has more creative freedom and can experiment with imaginative and unconventional concepts. However, both disciplines make unique contributions to the development of space and its utilization for users, and studying them can contribute to enhancing the people experience in video games and real life. When integrating architecture concepts into level design, designers must consider several aspects. First, they analyze the theme or style of architecture they aim to replicate or interpret in the virtual space. This can be any historical or contemporary architectural direction, from medieval castles to high tech urban landscapes. Furthermore, integrating architectural concepts into level design can also occur through the use of architectural language and symbolism to convey the game's story or mood. For example, incorporating elements of medieval castle architecture can create an atmosphere of fantasy adventure, while modern structures embrace the science fiction aspects of the game. It all depends on the context and the harmonious integration of ideas into the space. Moreover, integrating architectural concepts into the level design allows for the creation of unique and comprehensive gaming worlds that capture players' attention and change their impression in the game. Using architectural elements such as architectural styles, room layouts, decorative details, and lighting effects adds a sense of authenticity and contributes to the creation of a unique atmosphere for each level or location in the game. Location design transforms some ordinary mechanics into complex challenges for the player. For example, the structure of the feature 3, Wild Hunt, makes the game resemble a book, with events gradually unfolding. Level design serves an informative function, introducing the player to the world in a relatively compact location and then transporting them to a much larger biome that impressed with its scale. Overall, level designers are not afraid to draw inspiration from other games, developing their ideas based on them, and the most successful solutions simply transition from project to project. It is very important to create a space that would be interesting to explore regardless of the gameplay, giving a sense of reality. In Half-Life, there were purely narrative areas created to support the atmosphere and continue the story, and parts of the location were carefully adapted to each other, feeling like a single wall in the levels. This was a novelty for shooters. It is important for the player not just to mechanically pass through the locations but to explore them, remembering the characters' routes, searching for the hidden keys, examining secret doors. During the level design, it is necessary to experiment with balance and complexity of passage. Games like Metro, especially Metro Exodus, offer semi-open spaces and complex interiors that are not as important for gameplay. They are decorations that tell us a story through visual images. Games have become an integral part of mass culture, so developers are interested in ensuring that their product sells, which means it must be understandable to the masses. Therefore, it often becomes necessary to find a compromise between self-expression and clarity. Good architecture inherently conveys the necessary information to the viewer, even if it's not entirely realistic. There is a concept of paper architecture, projects that are not realized in reality due to violations of physical laws or are too complex or expensive. One prominent example of paper architecture was Giovanni Battista Piranesi, who throughout his life only built one building but created numerous engravings with impossible structures and imitation of ancient Roman style. Characters against the backdrop of absurd forms seemed insignificantly small, monolithic stone fills all space, constantly reminding the player of its restlessness. The giant labyrinth of bridges, platforms fills with dolls, ropes, and wheels. Such location structures are encountered in many games of the Dark Souls series. The open spaces in From Software's games resemble the graphic cycle of the architecture of the palaces of the constructivist Yakov Georgievich Chernikov. The complex layering of bridges, transitions, and supports with pseudo-Gothic spice. The Gothic in Souls games is so exaggerated that it resembles a dream. Hence, the undeniable fact architecture is always visual. This means that it shapes our understanding of aesthetic and manage emotions through space. We historically react to images that are mostly the same, and to understand this mechanism, one must ask, why am I being shown this particular thing? Ideally, the story and gameplay emerge from the environment or vice versa. Thus, we elevate our audience culture and therefore derive even more pleasure for the process. Collaboration between architects and game designers opens us wide opportunities for innovation and development in the fields of architecture and the gaming industry. Understanding the importance of this collaboration can lead to the creation of more high quality and engaging projects. Let's start with analyzing the geological characteristics of the area. It is important to investigate the composition and properties of the soil on the slope, such its straight water permeability and ability to support building structures. This will allow us to determine the optimal methods of soil treatment and select the most efficient construction technologies. Studying successful cases is crucial for architects as it provides valuable insights, inspiration, and lessons that can inform and enhance their own architectural practice. By examining projects that have achieved acclaim or recognition, architects can gain a deep understanding of what makes a design successful and learn from the stages, techniques, and innovations employed in those projects. Studying successful case offers architects a wealth of knowledge, inspiration, and practical insights that can enrich their architectural practice and contribute to their professional growth and development. It is an essential aspect of continuous learning and improvement in the field of the architecture. The exploration of modern architecture within the context of level design reveals a rich synthesis of principles and methods that contribute to the creation of immersive and captivating visual environments. Architecture have a unique understanding of space and the ability to evoke specific emotions through architectural decisions, which can be beneficial in video game development. Researching how various architectural elements influence players' emotion and cognitive experience can help refine the video game creation process and make it more immersive. In essence, the synthetics of modern architecture and level design represents a convergence of art, technology, and storytelling that enriches the game experience and expands the horizon of architectural discourse. By embracing the principles and methods inherent in both disciplines, designers can continue to push the boundaries of creativity and innovation in the pursuit of ever more immersive and compelling virtual worlds. Thank you for your attention.